Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you are a returning viewer, or this is your first time with us, welcome. My name is 𝐾𝐞𝐤. I am the host and moderator and owner of Real Estate Appraisal 411. I am a licensed real estate appraiser in the state of Missouri. This channel is designed for the general public. It is not designed to teach real estate appraisal courses. However, we will discuss real estate appraisal topics and real estate as how they affect the general public. So, if you are an appraiser, or if you aspire to be an appraiser, or you're a buyer, a seller, a lender, or a real estate agent, however you're in the real estate field, and a member of the general public, this channel could be for you. So I'm often asked, what are the advantages and disadvantages of becoming a real estate appraiser? So today I want to discuss that. I want to give you 5 advantages to becoming a real estate appraiser, and I want to give you 5 disadvantages to becoming a real estate appraiser. So let's go over the 5 advantages first. Number 1, flexibility and independence. Real estate appraisers often have the ability to set their own hours or schedules, work independently, providing flexibility in balancing work and personal life. This is probably the number one thing that attracts most of us to this industry. As I've alluded to in my other videos, this was my 3rd career change. I started in my mid-40s. At the time I was divorced. I had 2 pre-teenage daughters, and it was the dawn of internet being available to the mass public, and I could see where it would be instrumental in the real estate appraisal field. So I have been working from home since the late 90s, and real estate appraisal allowed me to raise my daughters and to be accessible. So, number 2, variety of work. The role involves appraising different types of properties, including residential, commercial, and industrial. This variety can keep the work interesting and engaging. That is very true. I do not know from day to day what kind of assignment I am going to get. So when no day is the same, I am never bored. I am never feel like I'm monotonous. I can choose to use my time how I best see fit because of the variety of work that I receive. Number 3, income potential. With experience and a strong client base, real estate appraisers can potentially earn a good income. The fees for appraisals can be substantial, especially in complex properties. This is true. The highest fees per assignment are in commercial property, and many commercial appraisers make 6 figures easily and up. It's no problem for them to do that. So the more experience you have, the more designations you have and whatnot, the higher fees you can command. Number 4, high demand. The need for appraisers remains strong due to ongoing real estate transactions, property refinancing, insurance assessments, and tax assessments. This demand can provide job stability. It very well can. That is a person who has a diversified business, and that's what Ladies Appraisal Service has. I am fortunate that I have a diversified business, but I had to work to get there. And for many years I was lender dependent. However, today that is not the case. Again, as I have stated, I am a baby boomer. Most real estate appraisers are 60 years of age and older. In the world, baby boomers are the predominant demographic in every continent except Africa. And on the African continent, 70% are 30 years of age and below. But every place else, baby boomers are the predominant population. Therefore, we have a graying of the population. This population, the baby boom population, has the majority of wealth. So we are at a point where there must be a transference of this wealth. So if many trainees, we have heard that they are having problems getting a supervisor to supervise them so that they can get their license. If I were a trainee, I might want to approach an appraiser about potentially purchasing their business and see what kind of response I could get. Because many of us would like to sell our businesses. It's just that no one has given us a plan that is workable for us. But either our businesses will transfer to the next generation, or unfortunately, many of them will fold. So there is a high demand for appraisers at this time. Number 5, intellectually challenging. Appraisers need to stay updated on market trends, regulations, and valuation techniques. This continuous learning can be intellectually stimulating and professionally rewarding. It certainly has been for me. I am a lifelong learner. I believe that learning for me will stop when I take my last breath. So to be proficient in this industry, you must stay up to date on market trends. You must do a lot of reading. You need to be a people watcher and be observant. You need to understand design. You need to read blueprints. You need to like to be intellectually challenged. So the 5 advantages to being a real estate appraiser, again, are, and I will just list them briefly. Number 1, flexibility and independence. Number 2, variety of work. Number 3, income potential. Number 4, high demand. And number 5, intellectual challenge. Now, I'm going to give you 5 disadvantages of becoming a real estate appraiser. Number 1, market fluctuations. The real estate market can be volatile, and changes in the market can affect the volume of work and income stability for appraisers. Again, this goes back to the diversification. For those real estate appraisers who are dependent upon lending work, right now, for example, we are in a slow period. Transactions that we had during COVID are lesser now than they were then. Interest rates were lower then. Interest rates are higher now. When interest rates go up, it knocks a certain segment of the population out of the buyer pool. Therefore, we have fewer people that are buying. So therefore, we have less lending transactions. Okay, so there are market fluctuations. So a real estate appraiser needs to take their abilities and be able to transfer them into a horizontal position, and I may talk about that in another video. So number 2, disadvantage, regulatory and compliance burdens. Appraisers must adhere to strict standards and regulations such as USPAP, or Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice. Navigating these requirements can be complex and time-consuming. It can be, because real estate appraisal is, like I said, is always in flux. Because real estate appraisal is about interpreting what happens between buyers and sellers in the real estate market, period. So, as that changes, the rules and regulations as they apply to USPAP changes as well. However, it is the responsibility of a real estate appraiser to know what those rules and regulations are and how they apply to their level of licensure. Because appraisers are judged upon whether or not they comply with those rules and regulations, and is what they have done reasonable and customary with their peers. So the regulatory compliance can sometimes be a burden with people. Income variability. While there is potential for high earnings, income can be inconsistent, especially for those who are self-employed or working on a commission basis. It can be challenging during slow market periods. And this is very true, and it goes back to diversification, though, as well. Um, if you're dependent upon lending, your income will be variable. If you have a diversified business, um, your income can be relatively stable. But it does take work to create a diversified business. I was told as a trainee when I first began, Kathy, you need to understand one thing. Real estate appraisal is feast or famine. What they meant was this: when the market and there's a lot of transaction, refinance and financing going on, you need to make as much money as possible, because there will come a time when it does not occur. Real estate in general is cyclical. It goes in cycles, and it generally goes in a circle. So there will be times when the market will be slow. If one is smart, one can parlay their talents and abilities into something else. For example, when the market crashed in 2008, because I have a background in real estate appraisal and I live in Kansas City, where every governmental regional agency is located, and by that I mean we have a branch of the IRS, we have a branch of the FBI, we have a branch of the Federal Reserve Bank, we have a branch of the CIA, we have a branch of the GSA, we have a branch of every governmental entity. Therefore, the IRS was happy to show me how to do taxes, and to this day, I know how to do taxes. So, income variability is something that must be taken into consideration. However, it can be overcome if you think about it and use this. Number 4, long hours and travel. Appraisers may need to work long hours, including evenings or weekends, and often travel to different properties and different communities and neighborhoods. This can be demanding and impact work-life balance. There are some appraisers who are uncomfortable coming into certain neighborhoods. If you are uncomfortable going to certain places, then real estate appraisal may not be the field for you. Because when you get an assignment, and particularly if you are an independent fee appraiser and you are dependent upon receiving assignments, you do not know what type of assignment you may get. So, there is also a need sometimes to work weekends, because sometimes homeowners are only available on the weekends. Sometimes they are only available after 5 o'clock. Sometimes you have to work weekends. Sometimes you have a due date. And sometimes it's a rush order. So all of these are variables. So your work schedule and your work time can fluctuate it. But at the end, what the good thing about it is, you determine how you use your time. Number 5, pressure and a responsibility. The accuracy of appraisals is crucial, as they affect financial decisions for buyers, sellers, and lenders. This responsibility can be stressful, especially with dealing with complex or high-value properties. It can be stressful no matter what type of property you're dealing with, because often real estate appraisers have to make decisions that they know will adversely affect somebody. But nevertheless, we are called to tell the truth and to write and to let the reader know what we have seen. For example, I was at a webinar yesterday, and a seasoned real estate appraiser gave a great illustration regarding the importance of telling the truth and to accurately describe the condition of a property. So let's take a scenario, and I want to share this with you so that you understand sometimes the pressures that appraisers are under. Appraiser goes, and I do not appraise FHA property, I am simply giving this as an illustration. Appraiser goes to appraise an FHA property. Now, whether or not many of you know it or not, the requirements on a down payment for an FHA property can be extremely low. Oftentimes, they're only 3%. So the borrower really doesn't have a lot of money invested into the transaction. So it could be seen in the eyes of the lender as a high-risk transaction. So, and the reason why it's not, though, typically, though, is because FHA is backed by the federal government. But I don't want to get off on a tangent about that. Let's go back to the issue at hand. So the appraiser is appraising the property, and the borrower is getting the FHA loan. Okay, the appraiser goes out to the property and notices that the roof looks worn, but there is no evidence of internal leakage, but the roof looks very worn. The appraiser does not, but it's not visible to the camera. It's something that the appraiser suspects. The appraiser says the roof is in average condition. The appraiser does not call for a professional to inspect the roof to determine its remaining life. The loan is closed. 2 years later, the property needs a roof. The borrowers do not have $10,000 to put a roof on the property. What would you do if you were a borrower and you had a leaky roof? You're only into the loan for 2 years. You've only put down 3%. You really don't have a lot of skin in the game. You might want to walk. Let's say that borrower does walk. Who winds up with the collateral? The bank. And if that bank has sold that note to Fannie Mae, they may have to buy it back. That's the risk that appraisers go through every day. Now, appraisers must be honest and we must be transparent. But for some people, choosing between the two can cause them stress. So, I've given you 5 disadvantages of becoming a real estate appraiser. They are, again, and I will just list them: market fluctuations, regulatory and compliance burdens, income variability, long hours and travel, and 5, pressure and responsibility. So, I hope that this has given you a better insight into the pros and cons of becoming a real estate appraiser and some of the things that many of us face day in and day out. I hope that this video has been informative and inspires you to make the best decision for your life that you can make. I appreciate you spending some time with me today, and whether you are a first-time viewer or you returning to my channel, I appreciate you. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And as always, peace is priceless because life is too short for you know what. So have a fantastic day. Peace.